We are live here from CRL 360 tonight. We've got a very special episode as we start round 5 of the CRL. And I'm joined here with my co-host and guests, Jilly Jombers, Ash Crutcher, and Liam Ryan. How are we, boys?
We're doing good.
Okay, mate.
Good, yeah.
So tonight we have a big episode. We're going to start off with summing up the games of the round. We'll then head over and check out our team of the week. We'll then have a look at our power rankings before we predict how we think round 6 is going to go. Alright, let's get started then. We'll start off with the, a very controversial game to some. The, Tigers defeated the Seagulls, 18 points to 16. We're all full to this game, boys.
I thought it was a good game to watch. Really close. I think that the Seagulls were you could say they were unlucky, but I also think that I wouldn't say they were robbed either.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Oh, go on. Sorry, Jilly.
No, you go first.
Alright, well, I think that people say that they were robbed. I'll say this. I think that the Seagulls, they deserve to win. They were the better team. But I don't think they were robbed, per se, if that makes sense.
There's games like that where teams win. The teams that are the higher up in the comp just get the job done.
Yeah, they just simply win because they're just more experienced. I wouldn't say the Tigers are more experienced, but like if they're showing they are a real contender because they won a game that they should have won. We see Melbourne do it all the time in real life. We see Penrith do it, and we've seen the Tigers do it there.
Here's my thoughts on the game. I thought that this is actually really promising, and I think that just how the competition's going so far, I think is really promising in general. I think there's really only one game where we've never looked like winning, or that we shouldn't have won. I think we probably should have won against the Panthers, and we were certainly the better team in this game. And earlier in the week, I was going to go on about the fact that Manly were robbed, but honestly, we should have won this game anyway. Valentine Holmes should have nailed that conversion, and we should have won it from there.
Yep.
But it's really promising that we've gone the distance with the Panthers and we've gone the distance with the Tigers, two of the top teams in the comp. And quite frankly, I think we can push on from here and make finals.
Yeah, personally, I think that the Seagulls, they have a very important game coming up this weekend. They cannot afford to lose. And I think that the Seagulls, they're a team that they can really do anything in this competition. They can push on for a final spot.
Or maybe win the premiership.
Yeah, maybe win a premiership, that's right. But they could also flop. And that makes you really worry.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen a few changes this week, as obviously, Jilly, you know about. I'm interested to see how those changes go.
Yeah.
We got Trbojevic at 5'8". Kenny Bromwich starts. I think is that his first start of the season?
Nah, Kenny Bromwich was the starting prop. Second rower. It's just that Trbojevic was moved to lock, so Jake Trbojevic went to 12 for that game.
Oh, right.
Should I give my thoughts on the Manly team now or later?
No, we'll talk about that later.
We'll wait until later. But I will think that with this game, there's a lot of what I will say, this was a bit disappointing. There's a lot of soft tries in this game. It was very unmanly and Tigers-like. We saw one of the tries they gave away. Tigers, they literally pretty much handed Harry Grant a ball on a platter to score a try. Like, it didn't even look like the ball was going anywhere but to Harry Grant when the intercept was scored and Harry Grant ran over. Another soft try. Adam Blue, I think it was, kicked at crossfield. It bounced along. Jason Saab looks at it. Tane Milne looks at it. No one picks it up. Oliver Goodall goes over. It's a little bit disappointing to see. And I'll be honest, it does make me a bit worried for both these teams. They can't let in soft tries to get versus the Panthers and even like some of the top teams like the Raiders. So I'm interested to see how we go in the upcoming weeks.
Well, we've already versed both, so we don't have to worry about that till finals.
Guess that's true, yeah. But we saw what happened when you versed the Raiders last weekend. That was not very happy, was it? So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, okay, I guess we'll move on then. To the Broncos losing to the Raiders, 12 points to 6. What are our thoughts of this game, boys?
I thought it was a good game. Well,
Yeah.
I watched this game, and it was really good to watch. Like, I thought it was a grinding match. The forwards played really well for both sides, and it wasn't really a halves game in my opinion. It was more of the forwards taking control, and yeah, the Raiders did really good things when Hammer got injured. I'm not saying Hammer was the reason they did good when he went off, but yeah, I think that they showed that they can do good things without Hammer.
Yeah, I think me and Gilly will talk about this in the commentary box. When Hammer went injured, alarm bells were ringing. I genuinely thought the Broncos could come out and absolutely flog them. They were lucky they had Jordan Rapana on the bench at the time. He came straight on, went the fullback and did a marvelous job. Yeah, I think that you could say that Rapana was a bit of. I think. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of what I was gonna say. Yeah, I think that Rapana, he did a really good job at fullback, and he proved us all wrong. We're saying in the commentary box it could be Raiders' season on the line there. However, they got the job done, and I think it'll be a hard team from now on in Raiders.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy I versed him in round 1.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I think the Raiders are a real threat from here. I think they showed that they could that they can grind out a game. They've shown that they can smash a team. They've really shown some really good skills. They've even shown that they can come back. They didn't finish the job against the Sharks, but they did come back and they did push for that win. I think the Raiders are going to be a real threat.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think on the other side of the story, the Broncos, they had moments where they could have won this game, and they just didn't do it in the end. However, I will say that the Broncos definitely aren't out of it. I think a lot of us here were sort of looking. Something I did notice was I am worried that we might be even on the Australian Broncos because a lot of us here were looking at the Broncos. We did so pre-game, right? We didn't want to talk too much about this. We're not going to go over this, but we did do some ladder predictions based off the final 4 rounds. And we have the Broncos sitting around 5th to 7th, which is the position I think they will finish. But I think they could also be a real threat, especially what they showed us against the Raiders.
I actually had I did have I was one of the ones that had the Broncos a little bit higher. I actually have them 3rd to finish the head.
I can't see them finishing that high, because...
Look, the only thing I'll say about the Broncos is they need to stop changing their spine. They need to stick to something.
Yeah.
And if they've picked if they've picked Walsh at fullback and Milford at 6, go with that for the rest of the season. Don't change that again.
What they should do, I think they should go Milford fullback, Stag 6, Reynolds 7, Coastal 9, and have Walsh off the bench.
Yeah, well, Remo and Corey haven't moved at all. But last week they had, I think it was Stags at 6 and Milford at fullback. This week they've got Walsh at fullback and Milford at 6. Stags in the centres.
Yeah, look.
I wanted them to stop changing. If this is what it's going to be, don't change it. I don't want to see it change.
Look, quite frankly, if they lose this week, I think Milford should go back to fullback and Stags or Walsh 6. But after that, don't change it at all. If they win this week, don't touch it. You leave it as it is.
Like, I think the coach is just seeing one minor change and just immediately just starting to change the entire, seeing they lose and then panicking and then just changing it all up. I am worried that this is leading them down a dangerous path. They're versing Manly this week's going to be hard. I think Jilly's sitting here happy that Stags did in this fight. I think he's been pretty good at 5'8".
Yeah, actually, I looking at this team, I'm really happy that Stags is at centre because it means less ball for him. So I'm really happy with that choice from Wombat.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about that lineup later anyway. But move on to now. This is a game that I do think a team was robbed, and the better team did not win. However, we are talking about the Sharks and the Knights game. The Sharks defeated the Knights 18 points to 6. We're on nuts in this game.
Boy, oh boy, the Knights. They were really good. The Knights should have won this game, and they should have won it by more than they lost it by. It shouldn't have been a 2-point margin. It should have been like a 12-point margin to the Knights. I think.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think the move to Toto to fullback, he was phenomenal. Certainly the Knights' best fullback so far.
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%.
I mean, who have they tried to fullback so? I think they tried Dufty there at one point. They tried Ponga there.
Yep, Dufty and Ponga.
Have they tried someone else there? Have they not? I thought they've tried someone else.
No, I feel like it was just Ponga and Dufty.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, I think that look, I think the Knights they should have won this game, and I think the turning point was when Nico Hines intercepted a kick and ran. Meaning that try should have been conceded. The next try happened after they conceded a few sets of the line and they couldn't handle it anymore. And I think it might have been Molotov that broke the line and went over and scored.
Which was a forward pass.
Yes, that was a forward pass.
100%.
I don't know how the ref
I will
missed
not
that.
comment on that.
When obviously you can't comment much on it, but I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Molotov was really cool in front of the defensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he caught it in front of the defensive line and he doesn't call it. I don't know how this happens, but
I mean,
yeah,
it's the
look,
argument
I'll say Knights shouldn't have let Sharks back into the game. It was like Ponga's fault for doing a shit kick and giving the ball to Nico Hines, who went over and scored. However, the Knights still deserve to win that game. But what I will say is it's good news for the Sharks, considering if they lost that, they would not be in a good spot. We've had 2 games now where we sit there and think that Sharks shouldn't have won that. They are very lucky to be in 4th right now. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't have surprised me if Sharks were sitting here with only 2 points, and that Raiders game being the only game that they've won. I mean,
yeah, we'll have a 4-game losing streak. So anyway,
at least we won 3 games. So
yeah, I guess we'll move on to the Eels v Panthers game.
Oh God.
They're my favorite game so far in the CRL, personally at least. And this game had everything.
Oh my God.
well,
The quick start. I'll go quickly over my summary of the game. The quick start from Eels got up 24-0. The comeback from Panthers to bring back 24-0. The goal point field goal by Hayes Perham to ice off a brilliant game. What else everyone thoughts of this game?
I mean, it was literally like it was like watching 2 different games in each half. The first half it was all Eels, right? The second half it was all Panthers. It was an insane game to watch, and you thought the Panthers were out of it when Wonga Blake went over, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
I would have thought that.
I was screaming in Chris's box.
Any comment, Ash, on what was your thoughts on where you find it off or anything like that? Or no? Did you throw anything?
Not anything.
I think what I was impressed by though was I'll say this: how good has David Fafita been?
Oh yes.
Look at his season so far. The last 3 games he's been exceptional, right? Against the Raiders, he sets up 2 tries which give them the win, right?
Yep.
Against who they versus last week? Can someone remind me? Broncos. Against the Broncos, he scores a try. He runs for 200+ meters, and it's looked like an absolute weapon. This week, he runs for 130 or so meters and scores 2 tries.
Yep.
Like, I'll say this: he was quiet in the first 2 rounds, but since round 3, he's been exceptional.
Yep.
Like he's been probably one of the best players in the competition. Full stop.
He's certainly been something new. I reckon he's one of the main contenders for Dally M medal, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah, not just second row of the year, Daily M player of the year, buy of the year. He's got everything he's looking at.
I think there's 2 players that you're looking at for most of them.
I think the other obviously.
I think there's 3. I think there's 3 still.
I think there's 3 main contenders, and I think for the Daily, we talked about Daily last week. I think there's 3 contenders at the moment. I think Pappenhausen was really good. I can't comment too much on this, but I think Osama Solomona's been great in the past couple of weeks, so I think he's a dark horse for it too now.
If he gets it.
I think Fafita and Carrigan are the other 2, in my opinion. I still think Carrigan's in it, but the Broncos need to win games if Carrigan wants the Dally M medal.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, as we went behind closed doors, he was sitting on 5 points, so we'll have to see if he can improve from that. Yeah, I've got to try not to comment on dating because obviously I know the results and no one else does, so I've got to try to keep quiet about that.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll move on to the final game of the round. Who would have expected this? The Roosters destroying the Rabbitohs 36-6 to have the biggest the biggest winning margin in the CRL so far, and the most points scored in one half. Not one half. Most points scored by one team.
Well, I believe
Hey,
it
I'll
was.
say
I believe it was
Yeah,
last
yeah.
week that I was sitting here. It was near the end of the episode. In fact, it was the very last part of the episode because it was the last game of the round. And I was sitting here talking about the fact that the Roosters were going to flog the Rabbits, and everyone was tipping Rabbits. And quite frankly, the Roosters are
Wasn't
making
he?
finals. I don't
I can agree.
I don't see them
I think
missing.
Roosters make finals that too. To be honest.
I'll tell you why I think the Roosters don't make finals and the Rabbitohs don't. But I'll tell you why I don't think Roosters make finals. I've not rated the Rabbitohs one bit in the whole season, and I think that the Roosters was just coming for the Rabbitohs. It was just coming for them to get flogged eventually and to get
Look,
exposed.
I'll say this. I
So
think the Roosters still win if they don't make this change. But I don't think they lose by as much if the Rabbitohs new coach did not pick Matt Moylan. If he did not pick Matt Moylan, the game's a lot closer.
100%.
Like the
Moylan-
amount of
what
bad
happened with Matt
mistackles
Moylan? I didn't see it.
Matt Moylan made, the amount of poor missed tackles that Moylan made that led to tries, 2 of them on James Tedesco. If Matt Moylan doesn't play the Thomas at fullback, I'm not saying Roosters lose or Rabbits win. I'm saying it's a lot
I mean,
closer.
it would
I
be
still
close,
think Roosters
exactly.
win.
Yep, I agree.
I'm saying Roosters still win though.
I agree 100%.
Was Moylan at fullback?
Moylan was
Yep.
at fullback.
If you're gonna move someone to fullback, move like Taft to fullback.
Oh, I think Taft's lower rated than Moylan.
Yeah, but I
That's
still don't think
separate.
he shouldn't have moved bloody Latrell Mitchell away from there.
I don't rate Latrell. Oh, I mean, Latrell at fullback on regular guy 4 though, so I'd probably keep Latrell at fullback.
100%. He was like he hasn't been a standout, but he's still been better than Matt Moylan.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
perhaps this is a good move for Latrell Mitchell because he's now going into the centres, right? If he plays the rest of the season at the centres, he's basically guaranteed +2.
Yeah, that's true. Something I didn't think about.
That is true.
That's true. But Again. that's not going to get you towards the finals, though. Like the coach, I think I'll be very surprised if Latrell Mitchell does not go back to fullback this week. We haven't
To be
actually
fair though, the coach isn't the coach like a coach. He only took over last week, so I guess
yeah,
give him
that's
time.
fair. That's fair. You give him time. I am giving him time. Maybe he wants to. I expect him to do a bit of shopping in the transfer season. Maybe change some things up around, but I'm interested to see how they go. And on the other hand, the Roosters, though, they were incredible. Victor Radley was awesome up the middle. James Tedesco was on fire. I think another player was great. I think the outside backs, Manu and Tupou, were also really good. Sam Walker was awesome. That was just the overall great performance by them.
Yeah.
And also anything to say?
No.
I guess we'll move on to Team of the Week. Now, this one's a bit interesting. This Team of the Week looks very different. As we have a lot of players. Well, we have, I guess we get into it. We have a few players who are becoming regular occurrences on this one. 2 main players, at least. Have a few new faces, too. And our fullback for the week is actually James Tedesco. How good was he this weekend, boys?
Yeah,
Pretty good.
Teddy got 230 meters, 2 tries, made Matt Moylan look like a fucking idiot.
Matt Moylan isn't he yet, to be fair.
I mean, Matt Moylan played awful, but James Tedesco just teared him up. He stepped him like that Bernard stepped him a couple weeks in the NRL, or a couple months ago in the NRL. But James Tedesco was brilliant, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I find it. I don't think anyone's gonna be better than him. We have our wingers for the week at the moment. We have Addo Carr and Joseph Manu. Rough thoughts on his boys' performances.
I thought Joseph Manu made a really good individual try from what I remember. I think he ran like 80 or 85 meters to score a try. Again, making Matt Moylan look like an idiot.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, I thought Manu was really great. And Addo Carr was he's probably one of the best backs for the Raiders in that game. As Liam mentioned earlier, it was kind of a game of forwards, but Addo Carr was really great.
Yeah, I think he just sort of just was like. I mean, it was. I wouldn't say it was outstanding, but it was sort of average, and there wasn't really any other wingers for us to pick, so he just bakes it in there by default. Pretty much, he was great in general. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say on them. Anyone else got anything to say?
Nope.
All right. Our centers of the week are Will Kennedy and Wagga Blake. First off, before we get into Wagga Blake, how bloody good was Will Kennedy?
Being it twice in a row now.
Yeah,
He was.
and Will Kennedy. Will Kennedy. I'm pretty sure I heard you say that he broke the record. No, is that right?
Record for what?
Line
Record
breaks.
for what? Oh no, I didn't say that. I said he made 6 line breaks.
Okay. Well, anyway, 6 line breaks. That's
Record
still
for
a
center.
lot.
I'll say it's nearly definitely a record for centers though.
Yes.
It's
5 line
record
breaks. It was
for
5
centers
line breaks.
almost.
Yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, he was just really great. Pretty much every time he touched the ball, he made a line break. I think it was pretty much every time he touched the ball.
It was every time but one.
He had 6 runs and 5 line breaks. Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously Wagga Blake. He had a really good game. I made a really good try. Stepped the goal for Panthers. Sent the Power Rangers lead to 24 before Penrith started to come back. But yeah, he also played really well.
Yeah.
I guess we'll move on to our 5'8 of the week. Now, this one, there was a few competitions for this one. However, we've decided to go with Adam Dewey. What are your thoughts on this game?
I thought he was a clear outlier for the 5'8 of the week, to be fair.
He had
Pretty good game.
he had a
150 run meters.
an interesting try assist.
An interesting one.
Yeah.
What's so interesting about it? Do you want to elaborate?
Adam Dewey was the one that put the kick in for the one that Jason Sub and Tane Milne stared at.
Oh, that's just unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, we did it. He actually got 2 tries, so we got another one too. And he also, he kicked decently, made a line break, 153 run meters. He just played generally good. It was a beautiful place kick, wasn't it, Jilly?
Oh yeah, it was so beautiful. I guarantee you, I was clapping when I saw that. I was clapping. It's like, what a masterpiece.
Was it a sarcastic clap?
No. It was that was such
Like
a good kick.
clap.
Yeah.
A slow clap?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
A slow clap. Slow clap in your own team. Anyway, we'll go on to our halfback of the week. Again, as a player who played decent for his team, we have Sam Walker, young Sammy Walker.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. Anyone else got anything to say?
Let me just quickly
Not
check
really.
his stats. Look, he didn't have too many kicks. But I think where he really shined,
His running game.
yeah, it was his running game. He made quite a few meters, 132 meters. He got 2 line breaks. It was solid.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. We'll go on to our props of the week, and then we'll get on to our hookers so I don't forget this week. We're on to our props, we have Tom Burgess and Jacob Saifidi. Tom Burgess is a bit of a surprise, considering he wasn't a losing team, isn't he? But he probably was the Rabbitohs' best player, to be fair. Ran for just on over
Same.
100, he ran for exactly 100 meters. Made 3 line breaks and got a try.
Yeah.
Anyone else have anything to say about him?
No.
And then obviously we have Jacob Saifidi, who is we have played decent for the Knights.
I was surprised
Yeah.
by how well Jacob Saifidi played, actually.
Yeah, I think
because he's been really
probably the
quiet.
best player.
Yeah.
Other than
I think
maybe
he's,
Brian Toto.
Oh yeah, Brian Tyler, sorry, my bad, forgot him, but he's probably the second best player. Yeah, I think Jacob Saifidi, he was just solid in general. Made 5 line breaks, which is incredible for a prop. 127 run meters. It was just overall just a really solid performance by him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then next
For
we'll go on
sure,
to our hooker of the week, which I know Liam has a lot of is very familiar with this guy. Brandon Smith. Do you want to tell us a bit about how Brandon Smith's been going at training and what he's like on the field?
Yeah, we've been really working on his running game, and he's been getting a little bit of a rest at, just after half time, and coming back on. He really gets the tired defenders at the end, and he's been really training well. I've been really impressed with how he's been going. We've been working on his running game, so he's been really, really good, I thought.
Yeah, I think interesting thing about Brandon Smith, when he comes back on, he actually makes a really big impact. Like he'll run over a couple of defenders, he'll like make a good amount of beaters at prop. It's not like he's a hooker that he comes back on and doesn't do much though. He comes back on and makes an impact.
It's exactly a reason that we've been taking him off for 20 minutes and bringing him back on because we know
Yeah, to be honest, I
impact
think he's definitely a contender for Hooker of the Year. And I think he's definitely he's doing really well. I guess we move on to now our second rollers of the week. Who, I mean, while they're becoming just a general appearance on the week, I think it's just becoming a weekly appearance in this team of the week. David Fafita. We already spoke about him, but again, he was just incredible today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's got to be averaging over 100 meters, surely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You'd think he would be.
Well, currently,
Especially in the last
770
3 games.
He has 770 meters, and he's played 5 games.
Well, yeah, there you go.
That's way more.
Yeah, he's averaging more than 100 meters. He'd be close to averaging like 130, 140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just incredible, yeah. He's literally averaging more run meters than players like Tom Trbojevic and Jason Tamalolo. So, good on him. And then our next player in the second row, we have actually Luke Gardner. He was a solid general, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I can tell you how solid he was.
Oh, you know,
yeah,
don't you?
Yeah. He was one of those players where it seemed he was constantly making line breaks. I don't even think he made that many line breaks, but it just felt like he was constantly making line breaks.
I mean, he made 5.
5? Oh, well, there you go. So he was constantly making line breaks.
You're right.
170 run meters, yeah. He was probably, I'd say he's probably the Tigers' best player, if not up there. Yeah. And then I guess we move on to our lock of the week, who is Nelson Asafa-Solomona. What are your thoughts on his performance?
Pretty good.
I think, he played 152 run meters, 5 line breaks, set up a couple tries. I think he really was he was inspirational in that first 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. He's the best.
Like, he just looked unstoppable, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, he appeared in the last week, he appears there again. He's genuinely, he's moved to the lock. How good has his move to the lock been? It's been incredible, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been great. He's
Yeah.
actually...
Yeah.
I think NSL's finally found the combination with the prop and lock, because he was starting a few on the bench at one point. I think he was starting Nelson on the bench as well.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then Paulo at one point as well. So I think he's finally found a good combination, and it's showing up with the win over the Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we move on to the bench. We'll quickly go over the bench. We have on the bench, we have Tuikama Kamika, Sean Lane, Jack Byrne, and Tyron Peach here. What are our thoughts on these performances, boys?
I thought they were all pretty solid. Nothing special apart from Tyron Peachy has just been a regular comer.
Yeah, I think this is like his 4th week on a roll period here.
Yes.
I think he's been on it like every week or something.
Every week except the first one.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through now. Yeah, pretty much team of the week. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 weeks. He's been on here 4 weeks in a row. Yeah. And Jack Bird, he was good when he came competitive. Sean Lane, Tuikama Kamika, again, not really that many players you can pick from 14 and 15, but those two just fit the bill the best. And yeah, it was actually, I'll say this though, it was good fun to see Tuikama Kamika getting some game time, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's his debut, yeah.
Yeah, that was his first game in the CRL.
Yeah, last silver player to debut.
Yeah. Congratulations on your debut, Tuikama Kamika. Welcome to the team of the week. Enjoy your stay.
Well, I think it's literally been pretty much every single CRL episode we've been talking about the fact that Kamika needs to be in this Knights team. And he puts him in and he makes team of the week. I think that's pretty telling.
Yeah, I think he's been very good. I think it's a big reason enough that it's so close. And you look, I think this is probably the most players they've had in one team of the week. They have 3 in this week, I believe. Oh, no, they have 2 because what's the name was taken out? Talk taken out. But they have
Yeah.
2, one on the outside, and both of them forward. So I think it's very good for the Knights moving forward. And look, I know we've sitting here before and saying they won't win. I think they will win a game. I just don't know what game. And I think I should get to that in a second because I think I'm going to tip them to win a game soon. We're going to tell you in a second, a bit of a preview there for people. But, power ranking time. My favourite part of the episode. Let's get to the power rankings. Alright. The first place team we have is the Tigers. How have they gone so far this season?
Oh, look.
They've been going really well.
Look, the only problem I have with the Tigers, it's only a matter of time. I don't think that they're... look, I think that they're more on par with the teams that are coming 5th, 6th, 7th at the moment, right? I think they should be more down there. I think they've just had a combination of luck and a really good draw so far. And that's why they're doing so well.
Coast, Eels,
What's their draw to end the
Roosters,
season?
Knights, Seagulls.
They have the hardest draw in the comp.
Rabbitohs, Panthers.
Oh, yeah, and then Sharks have second hardest.
Raiders. I'll tell you, the only big game they have left is the Raiders. And that's genuinely the only game I think they'll win the rest of the season. That's not like that's genuinely the only game I think they're gonna win. The Rabbitohs game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said Raiders, I'm like,
yeah, he did say Raiders.
I said Rabbitohs.
No, you did say
you
Raiders.
Said Raiders, I thought. Yeah, I thought you said Raiders.
Alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, the Tigers, they're just... I think they're about to get caught out. It probably should have been this week, but...
Oh, it should have been this week. They did not... I'll say this, they did not deserve to win. They did win, though. Yeah. And that's all that matters at the end of the day.
It does. And
look, if they didn't win, to be honest, if they didn't win, we probably would have still had Panthers first, Tigers second.
Yes.
If they didn't win.
I agree.
Because they win, I just can't keep Panthers at first when they lost to the Eels, so we'd have down and 9.
Yeah.
Which, I guess that's a bit of a spoiler, man, or whatever. But yeah, I guess that leaves our second team there, the Penrith Panthers. I mean, you could argue they deserve to win, but at the same time, the Eels probably were the better team for the majority of the performance. Panthers didn't really push on to the 15th minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Also, the problem is, though, I'd like to know the stats for how much ball the Panthers had in the first half.
I think the only argument...
Yeah, they had barely any ball in the first half.
I think you can make an argument for that, but I also think that you don't always have ball every single...
Yeah, the difference is, though, I think it would have been more like a 80%, 20% thing. Where the Parramatta Eels, they just got on a roll and then they didn't stop.
I don't know if it would have been necessarily possession. I think it would have been field possession though.
But that's what I meant. I didn't elaborate.
Yeah, no,
I meant field position.
Yeah, field position it would have been.
I think not always teams gonna make errors too. So
yeah,
you gotta make your own ball.
If I was the Panthers coach, what I would be impressed by is that the Panthers never put their heads down.
Yeah, they could have went down.
I think what they did is they waited. They seem to have waited and just look, we're not we're not going to bats the ball right now. We're not getting anything to really go our way. Just wait. Their ball will eventually will get an opportunity to score. And hey, they get a penalty. Literally, the first puff the penalty, Fafita goes over. They're in. Couple sets later, they go back on the line. Cleary darts over. They never put their head down. And although they still lost the game, you could make an argument that it was just they just got unlucky with the fact that the Eels got the ball second set.
Yeah.
I guess we have our I guess we'll have the third team in the power ranking. This one's quite a shocking one. We have the Raiders here. What are our thoughts on their performance so far?
Yeah, I think they deserve to go up a couple. I thought that they were gonna be a bit lower than third, just because I did not know that they were so high after last week. So, but yeah, I can see why they're in third.
Yeah, I think they've had a very good performance so far. Probably been one of the the last 2 games they've been incredible, haven't they? I mean, they probably could have considering they only beat the Progress by 6, but the previous week they smashed the Eagles. So they've just been very good overall.
Yeah. And
I think the thing you can make an argument for though is like third v 10th third v 9th as we were saying is very close. So if a team in the one in like down the bottom like against a good team, they could go up to the tops of the third. So it's very close.
I mean, we saw that with the Roosters this week. I mean, they went from being what 8th, I think, to being up near the top.
Near the top, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll get into that now.
Up into third.
Roosters are placed 4th on the power rankings, but I think they deserve to after the last couple of weeks. They smashed the Rabbitohs a week after they beat the Sharks by 6. Although the previous weeks they lost to the Tigers by quite a bit, they had only just beat the Knights.
Well, look,
And they lost. They definitely could have beat the Seagulls, but they just lost. They've definitely turned it up there, haven't they?
look. I think that the only game that they've really looked bad in is the Tigers game. That's it, honestly. But
Yeah,
not,
they probably
not even.
they probably could have.
They probably
I
could have
think
done
we
better
always-
there.
We always overlook this game, but the top Roosters genuinely could have won that Seagulls v Roosters game in round 1.
Yeah.
They genuinely could have won that game. They had moments where they should have won that game. And I don't think the scoreline definitely doesn't reflect what it ended up being back in round 1. But
my personal opinion is I think that the Roosters were given too many lifelines in that game. I think that the scoreline isn't enough in favour of Manly. I think you take 2 or 3 penalties out of that game. I think there were 4 in it. You take 2 penalties out of the game, and it's a bigger scoreline than it is.
I guess that's true when you think about it. But the Roosters,
Mainly, you can't control
like
when
if
you're
they
going to
won
give
that
away a
game,
penalty.
they genuinely would be 4-1 right now.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
How would they be 4-1 though? Aren't they 2 and 3?
They're 3-2.
Aren't they 2 from 3?
No, they have 3
Yeah,
wins
no,
from 5
Roosters
games.
have 3 wins from 2.
They're 3rd place at the moment.
Oh,
losses.
Roosters. I thought you were saying Manly.
Oh no.
I thought you were talking about Manly.
No, I was talking about Roosters. Anyway, like I said, it leads us perfectly on to. I'm great with these transitions. Going on to our 5th place team, the Seagulls. Yeah, look, they probably could be a little bit lower, but I think not moving at all, considering they definitely deserve to have won that game, right? I think that serves about justice sitting in 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'll say about my team, and I said this, I think I said it pre-show. Not sure if I said it while we were recording, but the teams that the Manly Seagulls have lost to is Tigers, Panthers, Raiders. They're the top 3 teams in the competition at the moment, right? And we've beaten the Roosters, who we've got 4th, right? So
Yeah,
realistically,
that's true.
we've faced 4 of our games have been top 5 contenders, right?
Yeah.
And then the last one was against the Knights, and we won that. So look, I think it'll be very interesting last 4 games for Seagulls, but I think we can definitely make top.
Look,
top
I'm
5.
going to say this right now, and I know I'm going to get a little backlash for this, but I genuinely believe the Seagulls are going to win every game for the rest of the regular season. They won't lose a game until at least 1 down. That's what I think. That's my prediction. That's my bold prediction for them. I believe that they are going to go on a run for you, and I believe that will put them in. Pretty much they'll be top 5 for them, and that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, and look, I would be more reluctant to disagree with you if it wasn't for the fact that we've got not the toughest draw coming up. There's a few games that are iffy, like against the Sharks. That could go either way. But we got Eels, who are down the bottom of the ladder. Broncos, who are kind of
That could go either way, to be fair. The Eels could beat you.
And Rabbitohs, who are down the bottom of the ladder. Look, it's...
I think the hardest game for you will be the Sharks, if the Sharks can find 4.
Yeah. And look, I think that it's possible that we only need to win 3 of our next 4, I think, to make.
Yeah, you only need 1 for every next 4.
So, Broncos and Rabbitohs and Eels, I don't see that as a tough ask.
Yeah, I think you guys probably have one of the easier draws, and I genuinely believe that you guys will win 4 of your next 4. That's my genuine prediction. I don't know how popular of opinion that is, but I believe that's what's going to happen.
I have them going 2 from 4.
So what, you think the Eels win?
I actually think... I don't remember who beat you, but I did have the Sharks and someone else beating you. I think it was
Of course,
probably the
yeah,
Eels. Yeah.
Next week will be telling. Or this week.
I mean, I am
this
the
week
coach.
will be telling.
I'll say this though: if you lose against the Broncos, I wish you good luck. I'll be wishing you good luck if you lose to the Broncos.
All I'll say is
Anyway.
if we lose any games, it needs to be by less than 12, because our fight
yeah,
against
you
is
can't-
already
you can't-
terrible.
you
If
can't
you lose
afford
to the
to
Broncos, then you're gonna be a huge performance against the Sharks.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll move on to our 16th power ranking. What a great transition again. It's the Broncos. Which is why this is such an important game next week. See, Broncos have been an up and down team, and I'm not sure what to make of them so far this season.
Look, the Broncos have a lot of tough, not tough, important games coming up. They've pretty much got a
Yeah.
guaranteed win in round 9. They're versing the Knights. And look, they've got Seagulls this week. That's a must-win game for the Broncos. And they've got Roosters in 2 weeks.
Round 8. Round
Yeah.
8, yeah.
So, and again, that's a must-win game. Because these are all final contenders. They need to knock off at least one of these teams if they want to make finals.
And look, even I think on the ladder right now, Eels are ranked 6. If Eels somehow win next week, who are they versus next week?
They're
The Raiders.
versing Raiders, yeah.
If the Eels win next week, then round 7 has a very important game. The next 3 weeks for the Broncos, I think pretty much all 3 of them they have to win.
I don't think all
If
3
not
of them
three of
they
them,
have to win. I think at
I
least
think
2
at least
of them.
2.
Yeah.
At least 2. At least 2.
They have to win
That's
2 of
what
them.
at least 2. And I think it's going to be... And I think if they really want to prove us their premiership, I think it's going to have to start with next week. Next week's going to be the more important game. After 3. Most important after 3. It's going to set the precedent for what we should expect. If they change this week, I don't know if they can do it though.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting with the Broncos. I think they'll probably win in round 7 and 8. I think that's when they'll strike. They'll beat the Eels and they'll beat the Roosters if they win 2 from 3. Although I do see Roosters beating Broncos.
Yeah, I think Roosters are going to be a very hard team come finals time. They have a team that is used to getting ready for premiership, being a premiership contender towards the end of the season. It's not anything old, it's not anything new. Sorry, for the Roosters to start maybe a bit off for a season, to then start firing up towards the middle and just go on basically a sprint for the end.
Yeah.
It's not anything new. Roosters are used to doing this. I think we'll see. I think Roosters will be very hard to stop come season, come finals. Should they be in it, of course. Anyway, I guess we move on to the 7th team in the power rankings. The South Sydney Rabbitohs. This team dropped out quite a bit, and to be honest, could be even lower.
Yeah.
I think just the fact that we had them 3rd last week is why we've put them only in 7th. But they could be 8th or 9th. They should be very fortunate they're not even lower than this.
I have 2 words to say about this team and why they're so low and probably why they got smashed by 30 points. Matt Moylan.
Oh yeah.
Why is he in the team?
Why?
I've got 6 words. No, 2 words. 6. No, a sentence. Souths never looked good at all before this.
Oh
Yeah, I don't agree with you.
Look, this is what I'll say. They lost to the Panthers by only 4. Round 1, they lost the Panthers by only 4. We've seen how good they are, right? Round 2, they beat the Raiders by only 4, who, to be honest, weren't that great. However, they will definitely see what they can do now. Round 3, I think this is probably their best game. Oh no, they lost to the Broncos. Round 4, they beat the Eels. They haven't had any outstanding performances. However, I think they've been very solid in all 4 games, which I think is why we gave them such a high rating.
Don't think they ever deserved 3rd.
And all 4 of their games, they turned into defensive performances, which is what I really like them.
I have 3 words for them to possibly win next week. Drop Matt Moylan. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep, I agree. But I think the problem this week
For them to win next week, change the whole team.
I think it was about the 68th minute, or whenever it was. Once they got that first try in the second half, the Roosters became unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
and they weren't able to keep that defensive performance that they've had in the past couple of weeks, where their attack has been their defense. But that's my thoughts. What's your guys' thoughts?
I think you summed it up beautifully.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alright, I guess we'll move on to the 8th place team. And again, the next two teams, pretty much, could argue it should be a little bit higher. However, we've kept them down this low because, for the main reason being that it's just hard for us to rank them much higher at the moment. And the next two teams actually, I guess we'll go with the Sharks first, but ranked 8th at the moment.
I'm gonna go first, and Liam, I know you're probably gonna hate me for saying this, but I think it's the truth. Look, you guys have got the West Tigers next week, or this week, sorry. You've got Manly the week after. You've got Rabbitohs in round 8, and you've got Panthers in round 9. Quite frankly, probably 2 out of 4. I can see you winning, unless you pick up a win against the Tigers, which I don't see as outlandish. I think you can do that. You've got a tough draw, but I can also see you winning these games. Although I don't think you will, because quite frankly, you guys should have lost against the Knights. You should have lost against the Eels. You should be 1-4 right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I aren't though. Win's a win.
That is true.
No.
However,
But the
You've
thing
got a
is,
point, but
you're not going to perform against the teams who are performing. Is what I'm saying.
Man, you perform at the right time.
he does have a point. However, what I'll say, Liam, what I'll say, Liam, is if I do, sorry about that, Ash, but this is how I see it happening. Your forward against is probably one of the worst teams out of. I think it's one of the worst. Let's have a look at it. -7, right? Teams around you, all sort of around that area. I see you winning 2 out of 4. I believe, right? So the games I have you winning right now. I see you beating. I'm going to tip you to tip. I'll give you the Tigers next week, right? I'll say the Tigers have their first loss. I'll say the Seagulls beat you. I'll say the Rabbitohs beat you. And I'll say you lose to the Panthers, right?
You said you win 2.
I'll say you win 2. That's 5 wins, 4 losses. However, I think that you have to have a good enough forward against. I believe that will come down to forward against. I believe the team that misses out, the team that gets 6, will have a 5 wins and 4 losses record. Based on how I see the draw going. Alright?
So based on how I see it,
based on how hard you draw, Liam, based on how hard you draw for, I believe you have at least one of those 2 losses, you might get blown off the park. And because of that, I see you missing the finals based on the forward against. I don't think Sharks will make finals for me.
I thought Manly missing out in 6, just on for and against, -6.
Yeah,
My
that's
opinion,
worse than yours. Better than yours, sorry.
in my opinion, if Pappenhausen plays good, Sharks play good. That's my opinion.
Yep.
Or Pappenhausen.
I mean, the whole spinus, even though Pappenhausen play well, we don't win all those games. Like, we barely beat the Eels with Pappenhausen having a blinder. I think the whole spine has to fire. We've seen before that the defense has to be good as well. So Hines and Hughes have to have good games as well, and so does Brandon Smith. The whole spine has to play well if we want to win games.
Then when I think you understand, you pretty much have to win this week against the Tigers. This week's a must-win game. Because then you have to come. It's not a must-win game.
It depends.
But...
It depends. If I beat the Broncos, then it's a must-win game.
No, it's not just that. It's the fact that if you're versing your draw, then becomes incredibly hard if you lose this week. Because
the Tigers are the top team.
Who only lost to the top 3 teams in the competition based on our power rankings, right? Who have then versus the Rabbitohs, which I'll give you some stuff for this. I think you can beat the Rabbitohs quite comfortably. And then you take on the Panthers, who we don't have the Panthers on. All I'll say is good luck. I know I've said that a bunch of times. Good luck.
I think I can win 3 of those 4.
I think you can. I just don't think you will.
That point.
Anyway, I guess we'll move on to the 9th place team, the Eels. Now, this one's a tough one, because I know they beat Panthers. However, it's just kind of hard for me to rank them at the moment. Is anyone else
They're in 24 points.
Yeah.
They're in 24 points, and it's sort of won by 24.
So did you.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
led in
point.
25 points.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
You led in 25 points and you
That
lost.
is the point.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is, at the beginning, they were leading 24-0. In the space for 20 minutes, shut up. They were in 24 points. Also,
I mean, looking back on it, I could put them above the Sharks.
Eels
I
probably.
could put them above the Sharks. I could, because I think that they beat the Panthers, who are actually to a pretty good team, but like 24-0, even though I don't think that really makes a factor. The fact that they beat the second team in the power rankings, yeah, I think surely maybe that should be a little bit higher.
I think they could win more.
Okay,
They should have won more.
now I have to try to act like I agree with this. I disagree with this decision. I think the Eels, they're just too unpredictable at the moment. They're just so I don't know what to think of the Eels.
Exactly, it was round one.
Right. Part of me thinks they're not going to win another game for the rest of the season again. They're versus the Raiders, the Broncos, the Seagulls, and the Roosters. All really tough games. Part of me also thinks that I just don't know. That they're too unpredictable to get my head across. But that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Alright, and I guess the last thing we have is the 10th place Knights. Not much to say on them. We can't move them anyway.
Actually, I actually do have a thing to say about them. I think that they're less. I think that they can avoid the wooden spoon if they keep if they play the way that they did against the Sharks. They can avoid the wooden spoon, in my opinion. I think.
Who would they beat though?
I'll take you up on that.
Oh, actually,
Who are they playing?
I'm thinking about
Well,
their
let's look at
draw
their
now.
draw.
I'm thinking about their draw now, and the only team that they could really beat is
the
Broncos, and they need to win 2 games. So actually, they could beat the Rabbits this week.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I think the actually, no, I think I think they can.
I can see them win 2 games. So,
but that would then require that would require either
Eels or
Raiders, Eels, Seagulls, Broncos, or Rabbitohs to not win a game for the rest of the season. To be fair,
that's not that.
I actually have both
the.
Yeah, I actually have both. I think one of those teams pretty much is guaranteed not to win a game for the rest of the year. You have the Eels. I think the Eels won't win a game for the rest of the year. To be fair, looking at their draw,
and the Rabbits Rabbits will be tough as well. So look,
I think the Rabbitohs are very. If they lose this week, they won't win a game for the rest of the season.
So yeah, I think the Knights. I don't think they will, but I think it's definitely a possibility. I think it's more likely that the Knights will end up with the spoon, but I would still back them to avoid it.
I guess it's time to move on to our round 6 predictions. Starting off with probably the biggest game of the round. I'm glad usually the biggest game of the round is the last game. This time it's the first game actually. The Seagulls
my predictions.
taking on the Broncos.
Let me give
What are our thoughts in this game?
Let us get predictions.
I'll give a preview as a coach. I think. Look, I've said this the past few weeks now with Turbo. He'll fire. This will be the week he fires.
6th time the charm, is it?
The number 6 role is his home, and that's where
Wait
he's
a
gonna
second.
fire.
Wait a second. He's playing number 6 on round 6. Maybe it's a sign.
Yep, it's a sign. The stars have aligned. Look, I think I think we will get away with this win. I think it'll be 1-12. Turbo will have an absolute blinder. I think Dallon's gonna have another blinder.
I'm make a big prediction.
I can Turbo. I'll say one thing. Turbo. I don't think Turbo. This is what I thought was gonna say at the start of the show. I don't think Turbo at 6 is his best position at all.
Okay. So actually, I have a rebuttal to that. Where do you put him then?
Fullback.
Yeah, look, but the thing is, he's had one good game at fullback. So, and Dallon's already had. Dallon's already had one game.
He's had one game and it was a good game.
Yeah,
but he's at 6. He's not. At 6, he can't step, and that's his best ability.
There's nowhere else to put him. I
To be
either put
honest,
him at 6.
I'll say this right now. I back this to play him at 6.
Yeah.
And I think if he doesn't perform this
Yeah.
week, drop him.
Dylan's been too good at fullback.
The
As long as
answer
Dylan
is
still performs.
Turbo. I either leave Turbo in the team at 6 or I drop him. They're pretty much the only two options, especially after Dallin had an absolute blinder against the Tigers. In one game, he's already done better than Turbo. So
Another possibility you could do it, but I don't know if you want to do it. Have him on the bench as a utility and do what you do with Dylan Walker.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, that could work, but I don't know.
My scoreline for this game is Seagulls 24-10.
I'm going to say Seagulls 13 plus, and I think I'm going to back. I'll back Travojevic this week. I'll back Travojevic.
I'm going. I have no issues with the Broncos. Broncos 1-12, 22-18.
That's a big call. I guess we'll go on to our next game of the round. This one's a soft. I have a few things to say about this round, but I want to see what other people think first. Sharks versus Tigers.
I'm excited for this game.
Look, if the Tigers are going to lose, it's going to be round 8. I don't see them losing this week. I don't see the streak coming to an end. I'm backing Tigers 1-12.
I'm tipping the Sharks to win by 1. Golden points 7-6.
I'm very similar to Ash, but I've actually got a not that. I can't say the Sharks defending their asses off 6 points. I'm going Sharkies 24-20.
Ooh, I'm almost gonna say by 1 point. However, I won't say 7-6. I'm gonna say 19-18. Sharks to win.
Sharks to win.
Nico Hines not actually trying to use field goal. Reason being, now I don't think the reason being right is we keep saying, right, Sharks have to click at some point. We keep saying Tigers have to lose at one point. Why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone and do them both at once?
Yep.
I don't know.
I just don't think. I think Tigers, they both have really hard draws coming up. So I'm going to tip for the upset. Sharks to win. Tigers and suffer their first loss.
But Tigers are going to make finals no matter what. It's just where they finish. They want to finish
Definitely
first.
make
So.
finals.
I mean, if you finish first, you can literally make the grand finals with 1 win if you finish first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it's so good to finish first in this comp.
Very important.
And then if you lose that game, you still get a second chance. You're guaranteed if you finish first to make finals with the 3 no matter what. At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we're going to our next game of the round. The Eagles versus Raiders. What are our thoughts on this game?
I think I'll go Jelly first.
Yeah. Okay. Raiders 13 plus.
Yep.
Addo Carter have a blinder. Addo Carter is going to have a blinder.
I can't see it being as big. I can't see it being as big of a blowout as you are saying. I can't see the Raiders scoring much points. I'm going 12-6. Raiders.
I think Raiders winning 13-0.
That's funny.
13-0.
No, 30.
30-0. I have to say 13-0. That's
I just possible.
Yeah, I think I just can't see the Eagles doing much here. I think the first half last week may have been a little bit of a fluke. Not entirely.
Like round 1.
But I think that maybe it's just not like I don't know, I think they had a lot of ball in that first half.
100%.
Anyway. Anyway, I guess we're going to our next game of the round. The Rabbitohs v the Knights.
Okay. It depends.
What does it depend on?
If Matt Williams plays, and it depends if the show's at fullback or not.
I agree.
Scoreline, actually.
I agree. No, I agree. If Matt Williams plays again, I'm tipping the Knights. If Latrell Mitchell plays, I'm tipping the Rabbitohs.
If Williams plays, I have 12 Knights.
I'm going to tip the Knights either way.
You know what? I'm also tipping the Knights. Fuck Rabbitohs.
Yeah, so am I. 14-12. Scoreline.
Yeah.
Hang on, that's actually. I'm going with you. I'm going with Julian Loughlin. I'm going Knights. I'm going to go Knights 14-6.
I have 14-12.
We should all go in agreement of an upset here.
Yeah.
I feel like we've done that a few weeks. We've all agreed that an upset is going to occur.
Yeah, I think when
it doesn't happen, we all look silly.
Knights
and when
will
it happens, we all look smart.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Knights.
Come on.
I can see Rabbitohs winning. I just have a sneaking feeling they're not gonna win a game for the rest of the season.
They've got a decently.
That could happen.
I can't remember the draw, but I feel like it was tough. I feel like their draw
Look,
was.
the only easy game they have is the Knights. This is the only easy game. The rest of the
Yeah,
last 3 games are tough.
They've got
Yeah.
Tigers, Sharks, Man.
According to my predicted ladder that I did earlier, if the Knights, I originally had the Rabbitohs winning this, but changing that would actually, if this happened, this would mean, and according to mine, that Knights finished 9th and Rabbitohs finished 10th.
Yeah, I think if
So-
Knights want to avoid the spoon, they got to win this game.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
And then win 2 more, which would be pretty hard.
No, the Rabbitohs. The only way that they'd do it is if the Rabbitohs didn't win another game for the rest of the season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I
the
just
Eels.
think it's gonna be. Look, if Rabbitohs win, I won't be surprised, right?
Yeah.
But why not throw a bit of spanner into it? Why not make the Rabbitohs lose? I mean, if they lose, at least we don't have a reason to put them really low.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. All right. I guess let's move on to the final game of the round. The Panthers take on the Roosters. What's our thoughts in this game?
I'm thinking that the Panthers are going to show why they are one of the top best 2 teams in the comp. I'm going Panthers 13 plus 30-12.
Do you know what? It would feel really, really cheap if I were to abandon ship now. I've backed to the Roosters pretty much every single game that they've played,
Really?
other than Manly. Other than the one against Manly, I've backed the Roosters in every single CRL episode. CRL 360.
Actually?
Yes.
Have you actually?
Yes, and I'm still backing Roosters. Roosters 1-12. They're gonna really put their foot down.
I can't see Panthers losing 2 games in a row.
No, can I?
Panthers 1-12.
That's why I went Panthers 13 plus. I have to say that their coach, who's in here right now,
I
firing them
cannot
up
see
again.
Panthers losing 2 games in a row.
I have us
sorry,
win
Joe, I
16
disagree
this.
with
I have
this.
us win by 10.
In
You
fact, I
guys,
think it's
you guys have
probably one
doubted
of
the Roosters the entire season, and you're doing it again. I'm telling you.
Listen, alright. I can't see them winning. I can't see Panthers losing 2 games in a row. I think Roosters are going to be a tough team to beat. Come
Yes.
finals time, but I can't see Panthers losing 2 games in a row.
Come finals time.
Yeah, it's not
Do they
finals
make
time.
finals or they lose to say?
Uh,
What's they draw to end the season? Have they got
They've
anyone
got
else?
the
after
Eels,
that?
Broncos. I have a relatively easy right here. Eels, Broncos,
It's for the
Raiders,
Roosters.
Panthers. Broncos
It is
and Eels
Roosters,
should be
right? Yeah.
picking. It's just the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they have Raiders, Broncos, Eels, yeah.
Panthers. Anyway, I think that's about it for the episode, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we talk about the hammer injury?
We don't really. It's we already saw it.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, I guess thanks guys for watching. Anyone else have anything to say?
No, that's about it.
Alright, see you guys.
See ya.